Hello and welcome back to another video in the world of Monster Hunter. This is Sparky. Yay! Right, so the idea behind this is quite simply helping out. That's probably the best way I can probably put it in a very short sentence. Basically, I have been playing heavy bowgun for God knows how long. I've got near enough 1,500 hunts now with just heavy bowgun, and I'm always using the same sort of ones: Dod-Regnbue 2, Dark Devourer, Glutton. Used to be Tariff Assault support, but since I've got Kjárr Assault Water, it's always been about the water, and that's because these are sort of like the best in their class. If you want all of the ailments going, you go for Dod-Regnbue. If you want massive deeps with clusters, that's where the Dark Devourer gets involved. If you just want generalized big deeps, Glutton is the way forward. And if you fancy being a bit of a, as the kids say, meme, and just generally, doing something a bit different and sustained DPS, whether it just be low, moderate, or can even hit into the high, that's where Pierce comes in, which at the moment I would argue is Kjárr Assault Water's territory. So I started looking at some of the other Kjárr weapons, and well, there's this thing, the Kjárr Assault Spark. This is the weird little mix of Arch-Tempered Kul'Taroth with Tobi-Kadachi, and it is actually a pretty nice little weapon. So I'm going to head straight into the build now, skills and equipment, just to show what I've got. So obviously, like I said, this is the Kjárr Assault Spark, and I'm going to be using a health augment. As for armour and decorations, we have the Kaiser Gamma helmet with 2 tenderizer, Valhazak Gamma chest with a pierce, Xeno'jiiva Gamma gloves with 2 mighty and an attack, Xeno'jiiva Gamma waist with a critical and an expert, Xeno'jiiva Gamma boots with your 3rd mighty and 2 more expert, and then the attack charm 3. So what this actually gives us is a lovely concoction of spare shot, which is going to be handy. Critical element, in case the monster you're fighting is weak to thunder. You do have thunder options here. Critical eye level 5, attack boost level 4, critical boost level 3, maximum might level 3, weakness exploit level 2, peak performance level 1, recovery up level 1, power plumber level 1, which we don't care about, special ammo boost level 1, and piercing shots. Now this build is predominantly a pierce build, but it's pierce level 2. This is the reason we are using reload and recoil along with a shield mod, simply because we want to try and keep peak performance up as long as possible, because that's going to be a good chunk of your damage. It's also the reason we are using the Valhazak Gamma chest. It gives 1 piece of peak performance as well as recovery up, so that health augment is a little bit more effective with the lower damage of Pierce level 2. And utilising reload and recoil, you're able to move and shoot Pierce level 2 on the go. So why is it that I am focusing on this particular weapon, despite the fact that it is obviously a fair bit lower than the top Pierce build? Well, that is quite simply because this weapon has some amazing utility, and also does do a fair bit of damage, which, if you haven't noticed, I do have my damage meter up. Yeah, I'm not showing it to be a complete dick and be like, hey look how much damage I'm doing compared to these other guys. It's there to show that even though this build isn't exactly meta, it does do a fair bit of damage, which is what the majority of players care about. They just want to deal the damage. However, if you're one of those people that likes to sort of play a little bit tactically, have a little bit of a laugh, have a little bit of fun, mess around, this, that, the next thing, etc., etc., this potentially could be a build for you, simply because this weapon has paralysis level 1 and paralysis level 2, clusters level 2, sticky level 2, slicing, sleep. This weapon just generally has so much more utility than your standard smash it in the face heavy bowgun builds. There's a lot more to this weapon than meets the eye. It's not the most powerful, but it can make up for it in a team composition just by allowing things like a sleep, 2 more paralysis, because you do have paralysis level 1 and level 2, or you can even make a few more level 2s on the go if you wanted. It is a critical element build, not a critical status build, so you are going to have to be mindful of that. But generally speaking, this build does work quite well. It's not the best, like I've already said, but it allows for so much more option. I mean, you can see the ammo I have on the right hand side. I'm just casually scrolling through it, and it is just generally very, very helpful. Obviously, the idea is to generally do quite a bit of damage, so I've tried to maximize the damage where I can and also allow for some decent status while going in there. You are sadly also going to be relying quite a bit on positioning, simply because recoil and reload times, etc, etc. I've tried to keep it so that the damage option is as free flowing as possible, and when available, getting a little bit of status in there, but it's up to you to decide whether you feel it works as well as you would hope. For me, it feels quite like a solid build. It does generally work, and I am starting to really enjoy using this in a team composition. Doesn't really work solo because you don't have the opportunity or the options really to take that time out to allow for that huge recoil hits from using paralysis level 2 or even stickies. It is generally speaking a multiplayer designed weapon. Anyway, that is me. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope this has been slightly more entertaining, perhaps something a bit different. If you do like my content, do feel free to click the like or leave a comment, or maybe even subscribe. It's all free, it's YouTube. It does really help me out quite a bit. But in the meantime, good luck, have fun, and don't die.